That one was a little bit easier than number 2. So we're going to go ahead and tackle number 2 right now. Number 2, we're still doing the same thing though. We're still trying to get this equation into this form, slope-intercept form. Why are we trying to get it into slope-intercept form? Well, slope-intercept form is really the easiest way to graph from. And since we are trying to graph a line and we want to know what the slope and the y-intercept is, that's why we want to change this equation into slope-intercept form, okay? So I'm going to write this equation, negative 14x plus 7y equals negative 28. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did up here. Again, I want to get the y by itself. Okay, so even though there is that 7 in front of it, I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm going to start with the x just like I did over here. I'm going to start over here and try and get this part to cancel. So negative 14x, the best way to get that to cancel, of course, is just to add the opposite. So do that inverse operation. Negative 14x and positive 14x is 0, which means all I have left on this side right now is 7y, which is good. I'm getting closer to it being by itself. But if I added 14x to this side, I also have to add 14x to this side. So remember what we did up here. We said that all we're going to do is take these two items that are on the right side and just basically rewrite them in this mx plus b format. So I'm going to rewrite this as just 14x, and then there's a negative 28 there, okay? Now, the y is still not by itself. Remember, to get it into slope-intercept form, I need that y to be by itself. So to get the y by itself, all I'm going to do is go through, and the last step is to divide everything by that coefficient of y. And all this stuff is in y'all's spirals if you still have those, and you can always go back and look at the original notes that we took on this stuff. But when you do divide, you're just dividing these coefficients. 7 divided by 7 is 1, which that's why I want it to be 1, because 1y, remember, is just y. So that's why I divided by 7 there, to get that 1, which gives me just 1y, which is the same as y. 14 divided by 7 is 2, so that gives me 2x. And then I get my negative 28 divided by 7, and that's going to give me my negative 4. So this answer right here, y equals negative 2x minus 4, that's what goes on this line right here. Okay, so again, it asks you to rewrite or convert this equation in standard form into slope-intercept form. So that's what we did over here, y equals 2x minus 4. So that's what I'm going to write on the line. And then, of course, my next step is to graph. That's what that says here, graph it. So I'm going to graph it on this. I'm not looking at this at all anymore for my graph, okay? What I'm graphing from is this right here, the slope-intercept form. And remember, in slope-intercept form, we want to know what the y-intercept is. So my b is going to be negative 4. And then, of course, my m is 2, which we're going to write 2 over 1. And remember, that's your rise over your run. So my rise is 2, so I'm going to go up 2. And my run is 1, so I'm going to go over 1. Okay, so again, just like we did over here. Here we went down 3, right 1. Here we're going to go up 2 because it's positive 2. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is negative 4. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to find negative 4 on my y-axis. 1, 2, 3. That's down to negative 4. And my slope is 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And again, you want to continue that up 2 over 1. Just continue that slope to give yourself a nice straight line. Okay? And make it as straight as possible. And that's it. Okay, so those two things, just to summarize that, was changing this equation into slope-intercept form. Again, if you need to go back, take a look at the work that I did on these two equations to try and get the y by itself. I think probably the most common mistake that most of y'all made is some of y'all did not have the sign correct here. So just be very careful. If you're subtracting 3x from this side, you also subtract 3x from that side. And then when you rewrite these two things together, you're just rewriting them the exact same way that they are here. All you're going to do is just add them together, just so it looks like this, mx plus b. So it's negative 3x plus the 9 was positive. And same thing over here. The only extra step we had over here was that we had the 7. So that's why we had to divide by 7. We did not have to divide by anything on this first problem because the y, the coefficient was 1. There was nothing to divide by. So this one was a little bit harder because you did have to divide across by 7. That's about it, guys. If you have any questions on these, you can send me a question over Remind. You can send me a question through Google Classroom, and I'll answer those. Today, when you fill out your Google form, the problems will be similar to number 1 and number 2, where you're changing into slope-intercept form. And then I am going to have some where you're just matching a graph to an equation, just so I can kind of see that y'all know. I can't actually have you graph a line, but on the Google form, you will be matching some graphs to equations in slope-intercept form. All right, y'all have a great day.